All right, guys. What is going on? What is Gucci? What is Gucci? Welcome to the live stream. Welcome, welcome. I think we should be good to go. Nice title. Yeah, that's the professional version. I was gonna title it "How to Not Be Retarded," but I was like, John, you got to be more professional. You got to be more professional. So, how to not be stupid. How to not be stupid. Does that sound like something worth learning? Does that sound like something worth learning? Scott, slowly. T? Is that worth learning? Julius, Capitalist, Ibanez, Big James, 2020, Roger, Nicholas, MJ, Felix, Eric. Who else? Who else is here in the chat, man? But yeah, we got to get them likes up. We got them likes a little bit low. 28 viewers to start, 10 likes. Man, that's crazy. That is crazy work. Crazy work, chat. I'm so grateful for you. But we got to pump the numbers up a little bit. Anyway, one day I'll find a way to play the music really low so you guys can hear it. But it won't be today. What's good, Jorks? All right, so, you know, why this type of stream? With this title, like, why would I title it something like that? Because, again, you go, if you go all over Twitter, man, you'll see that everybody's trying to short indices today still, even though it's bullish. And, the more that you read into like human psychology, whether it's like habits or childhood, mindset, trauma, biases, whatever the case may be, I think like you really start to understand like why there's that saying, misery loves company. Y'all ever heard that before? Misery loves company. Trying to short a bullish market. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And like a lot of people still try to do it, and they're proud of it too. Oh, took a loss today. We'll come back tomorrow. I don't like, to me, that's very strange to me that you're proud of being stupid. And I'm not saying one loss makes you retarded. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying repeatedly trying to short a consistently bullish market is stupid. If you have been trying to short in here, I'm not saying that there wasn't shorting opportunities. Obviously, these wicks like in here, and when the range is being created, yeah, there's going to be opportunities to short, sure. But how much better do you think you would be if you actually went long? So it doesn't make sense. You're trying to get crumbs when you could have the loaf. That's stupid. Literally, that is one of the dumbest things you can do. And yeah, Roger, that's why I wanted to start with dollar first before we got into the indices. But it's like it's just like the things that I tweeted. people will sit at the slot machines, right? Mark Douglas and Paula Webb talked about this extensively in their books. That people will sit at the gambling table, the casino tables, right? Roulette, the slot machines especially. And they will sit there and lose money and lose money and lose money and enjoy it. And they go home worse off than they were, broke still probably, but they enjoy it. Is it like, seriously, chat, is that not a weird thing to you? Like, how could somebody consistently enjoy being a loser? How do you enjoy consistently losing money? It's weird. And yeah, part of it is, I don't fully understand everything about psychology. I didn't go to college, okay? I don't know a lot of stuff. I know a lot of what I read, and The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene's pretty good. But to sit there in error and to live in that, to live in error, to not change your ways, to not want to improve, to be better, to fix your mistakes. That is so strange to me. That's stupid. And if I had to pick a starting point, dude, I think the starting point has got to be the mindset. It's got to be the mindset. So I'm going to ramble a little bit for you. I know some people might not like that, but you're not going to fully understand this lesson. You're not going to fully understand all of this and why this is part of this unless you kind of sit here and understand for a minute. I don't know what you learned in elementary school and middle school and high school, or if you have some college, I don't know what you've learned and what you know and what you don't know. I don't know what books you've read. I don't know what type of people you hang around. I don't know what your upbringing was like. The biases and the culture that was instilled to you. I don't know what that is. I know what mine was. And there was never a singular light bulb moment for what I'm about to tell you. But at a certain point, I started to think, right? As I was learning all this stuff. And I thought to myself one day, I said, man, I think everything that I've learned, meaning in middle school and high school and parts of college and military culture, I think everything that I learned, almost everything, was wrong. Almost everything that I learned was wrong. Right? They taught a lot about evolution, garbage. They taught a lot about, staying in school, getting a degree to get a good job, garbage. It's cool to take out a credit card. You can just make payments. Garbage. When I got into trading, when I got into day trading, the moving averages and all the indicate garbage. I had to spend so many years, and even to this day, I have to spend time unlearning a lot of those things. Right? Eating whatever you want, drinking whatever you want, because everybody else does it, is stupid. Fast food, stuff with glyphosate in it. If you don't know what that is, look it up. All these cancer-causing chemicals in our food here in the U.S., probably all over the world as well, to an extent. Microplastics, cooking with rubber utensils, non-stick pans with the Teflon, all this stuff, dude. And it's in every area, not just health and wellness, but it's in the mindset too, right? And like when you're a teenager, oh, you can go to the clubs and sleep with all these people that you want and drink as much as you want. Garbage advice, absolute atrocious advice. So again, I spent like the second half of my 20s and the first 2 years of my 30s unlearning a lot of bad habits, unlearning a lot of flawed thinking. I used to love money and not love people. I had to reverse that, start to love people and use money as a tool, not use people. You know what I'm saying? And again, everything that I learned, like 90%, right? That's one of the mental models, right? 90% of everything is garbage. And that's really how it was. You don't know that when you're in it. You don't know if you're part of a toxic culture when you're in it. You don't really know until you stop and think for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're in a cult, you don't really know you're in a cult unless you stop and think for a minute and change your perspective. Remember relativity? That was a mental model we went over. You got to change your perspective, put yourself in other people's shoes and, you know, look at things differently. Inversion, forwards and backwards, right? So I say all that to say it starts, how to not be stupid. It starts with this idea that 90% of what you think you know is wrong. Seriously. And look, I know there's 43 of you, but look, the majority of people, if I went up to people in the street, I'm not going to do this, but if I went up to people like at Walmart or Kroger or some shit, and I said, hey, bro, 90% of the things you know is wrong, people would absolutely become offended. It's a very offensive thing to say. I'm calling them stupid. And it would probably be the same if somebody said that to me. Oh, hey, John, 90% of what you talk about, 90% of the things you know is wrong. I mean, I would argue that that's incorrect. But again, if you don't learn stuff, if you don't actively investigate stuff, right? If you don't do any learning, the world will teach you for you. You know what I'm saying? So coming back to this idea that, you know, that it's about what indicator settings you use, or it's about what indicator and how to use it and all this stuff. I threw all of that out the window. You to this day, you see nothing. You see no indicators. You see candlesticks and my brush tool, maybe a box or two, and that's it. That's what you see. Thinking in terms of probabilities, not trying to be perfect, not trying to get it right every single time. You know, stuff like that is a mindset that I had to learn. You know, I was chasing perfection for the longest time. I don't chase that anymore. Right? So, again, it's the mindset. You have to be open to learning new things. You have to be open for interpretation. Now, I know we're not at 48 Laws of Power yet. That's book of the month next month. But I will tell you, if you go to Google Images, you look up 48 Laws of Power, law number 48. Okay? Law number 48. I love the way 48 Laws was written because, and this is what Ryan Holiday said, there's 47 laws on like what to do, what not to do, what to avoid, what, you know, what to look out for, stuff like that. And then law 48 basically just throws everything else away. Because law number 48, do you guys know what it is? Type it in the chat if you know. There's 47 laws, and then the 48th law basically says, well, you could throw all those away if you need to. I'll give you guys a second if you need to look it up. I think it was, I always get Jet Li and Bruce Lee confused. I think I think Bruce Lee's the white guy and Jet Li is the not the white guy, right? I think it was one of them that said, be like water. To be like water. Water takes the form of the container that it's in. Thank you, capitalist. Somebody knows. Somebody looked it up. All right. See, Julius Mason. Right. Law number 48. Oh, Bruce Lee, thank you for that. See, I'm not perfect. 48th law is assume formlessness. And I believe Robert Greene talked about the Spartans. Like the movie 300. And the Spartan culture closed themselves off from everybody else to the point where they eventually, just died off. They did not get with the times. They did not transform themselves. They stayed the same, and they ended up paying the price for it. So that's what you have to be like. You have to be like water. You have to assume formlessness. Now, what does that mean? Because I know that's the first thing some of you are probably thinking, John, assume formlessness, brother. What are you talking about? What does that even mean? It means in trading, don't get stuck into a bias. Don't get stuck on a bias because your initial bias might be wrong. Perfect example. Let's go back to NQ for a minute. It was on Friday, March 27th, I think it was, that I tweeted, whenever we get back bullish again, right? I said, look at the highs we made on the triple Qs and Microsoft. I pointed to those highs here. I was trying to get you to look at these highs here and these highs up here. I said, look at the way we made those right there on the 27th, or maybe that weekend. Then very next day, yeah, we do trade lower, cool, but then that was the low. So by the time Thursday came around, y'all remember that market review. I was no longer bearish anymore. A few days have passed. New data comes in. And on Thursday's market review, I said, hey, for Friday, anticipate expansion. We don't have a Friday's candle because I made a mistake and told you to expect expansion on Friday. Friday was Good Friday. There was no open market. So I should have said the next day. The next day is Monday. And then, lo and behold, that led us to the market that everybody's trying to short. Everybody's getting their ass kicked right now. Everybody's getting absolutely fucking railroaded right now. Dragged across the coals. Face ripped off Indiana Jones style right now. Because they are trying to short this. They're getting creamed. Okay? Absolutely offsides. Murdered. Wrecked. Whatever term you'd like to use. It's happening. Okay? So that is my point. What do I mean by assume formlessness? Well, on Friday or that weekend, I said, hey, we might have more downside. We might not be bullish soon. That's what I said. It ain't happening soon. Because again, I thought we were going to go for those lows. Those were very clean and we were right there. But I do not always get it right. And I know that. I admit that to you probably almost on every single stream at this point. So yeah, and once we had that, oh yeah, we might run those lows. That's a gap on the weekly time frame. Then we had this, and on the future side, we had something a little bit different. We had that, right? And then that was into our inversion here on the second. And as soon as we closed off of that, that's when I was like, yeah, expect expansion. So I am no longer sticking to that idea that we're bearish. Things changed in a couple of days. That is assuming formlessness. And then what do you know? We got a record breaking, I don't know how many, somebody said it was like 13 up days in a row, or like up close days, because Thursday's closed to Friday's close technically is an up close day, even though it's a down close candle. And somebody said this was like 13 days in a row, which hasn't happened since like 2005 or something like that. Right? It's like one of the most beautiful, crispy, clean moves that we've seen. Right. And I literally fucking called that out for you, dog. Literally. I didn't think we'd get there in a couple days. I didn't think that at all. I just said expect expansion higher. Okay, my timing is not always the perfect thing. But again, coming back, you have to be open for interpretation. You have to assume formlessness. You can have a bias, and if you're wrong, either switch your bias or go to the sidelines, because something is not correct. It's you who's not correct. The market's never wrong. It's your dumbass who's wrong. Okay? So guess what? If I'm wrong, no worries, no problem. Admit it early and then get in sync. It's the best thing you can do. Besides sitting out, admitting that you're wrong and getting in sync with what is likely going to happen, best thing you can do. But you will not do that if you marry a bias. You will not do that if you try to prove the market wrong. You're cooked. And I'm seeing it every day. Go on to, it's all over Twitter. Oh man, fair value gaps are patched, bro. No, you're fucking patched. What are you talking about? First of all, this looks like shit when it comes to imbalances. This is trash. Okay, unless you count the wicks as imbalances, which I really haven't taught you yet, and I don't really use that anyway. But you know, for whatever reason, people will look for shorts, okay? I want to say it might have been on ES. Somebody was posting earlier, and it's just like, look, every time you see a setup for shorts, you're getting pooped on. Literally. Multiple imbalances in here. Oh, I'm going to short that. Higher. Wrecked. Now you got to go to the emergency room and get your face got put on. You know what I mean? Your face got melted off. They got to put it back on. And you're just trying to short over and over and over and over and over. Okay, finally it works. Oh, yeah, finally we got some equal highs. We got a little sweep here. Okay, wonderful inversion. Awesome. Market came down for some internal range lows. Wonderful. And guess what? If you overstayed your welcome, that bitch is back at your entry. Stupid. That's stupid. That short might be fine. But how many times do you think people tried to short on the way up before they finally got it right? It's idiotic. It's absolutely insanity. Because you're not looking at a daily time frame or a weekly time frame, and you're not seeing what the perspective is here. What's the perspective? Well, take a look. Take a look. March 20th to 23rd gap. We got through that. Okay, then all the buyers came in. Right? The buying pressure got us higher. Cool. Higher. Monday, open lower. Where did it open in respect? The March 6th to the March 9th gap. Right there. Bang. More buyers came in. Buying pressure sent us higher. Wonderful. Right? The market is steamrolling higher, period. Now, that's really obvious to see on a daily. It's not so obvious on a 1 minute, is it? Oh, the market hasn't done this, hasn't done that. I don't see my setup. Fine. If you don't see your setup, then don't trade. That's fine. But you have to understand this is absolutely steamrolling. And another way, because this is order flow, okay? What you're looking at is bullish order flow. You're seeing concepts that were once bearish not be bearish anymore. Thus, respected to go higher. Bearish to go lower, not bearish anymore, respected to go higher. That's exactly what you want to see. Bullish order flow is bearish shit becoming bullish. You see that? We did it down here. We did it again here. Surprise, surprise. Every concept has a what? Inversion, premium discount. I don't know. Check your notes. Somebody must have told you something recently. I don't know. Couldn't have been me. I'm all hindsight, remember? When you look at legs lower, right? When you look at legs lower, you have to see how we did it. We have an imbalance here. We came up. We overshot that. Went lower. Up candles here. Respected to go lower. Okay, cool. What in here would we label that we could say, oh, well, this is the last up candle before the down move, right? Oh, that's going to be bearish. Probably not. That's forced. That's really not that obvious. Okay. And plus that was already utilized in here. So if there's no massive imbalance or there's no massive gap, what would send price lower? Nothing, right? If there is nothing standing in the way for price to, you know, trade into to trade lower, it has no reason to go lower. So if it has no reason to go lower, why are you shorting? Because again, you like getting shafted. Sorry, I'm trying to be professional. You like getting wrecked. You like taking losses over and over again. And it feels good. Oh, well, everybody else is losing, so it's okay. The fuck it is. What are you talking about? That definitely not everybody's losing. I can guarantee you that. But why would you want to be part of the crowd? Because it's comfortable? That's retarded. No. You should constantly strive to be part of the winning crowd. You don't want to hang out with the losers for. No. Trauma bonding. Yeah, that too. Oh man, you blew your account. Oh, I blew my account too, bro. Let's be friends. Oh yeah, what type of chat is that? It probably got more memes than good ideas. Fuck off, dude. There's nothing in here that's going to send price lower. So this is a smooth, low resistant liquidity run above those highs. Period, point blank. When you're in a condition, when you're in a market condition that is likely to print big eggplant candles, okay? Sorry, ladies. Big eggplant candles higher. You are going to take shorts and you're done. Easy losses, quick losses. We may not get up here today. Tomorrow could even be a down day. I don't know. I don't know how many up days we're going to have in a row. All I'm saying is the current condition for indices is massively bullish. I brought up the dollar index because, you know, a lot of goobers don't do intermarket anyway. They don't even know how to do intermarket. They don't care. But look at what the dollar has done. High from November, taken in March on Friday the 13th. Ooh, spooky shit. Bang. On March 30th and 31st, end of the month, we got a turtle soup. You know what a turtle soup is. It's a high and a higher high above an old high. Okay. We'd trade through the last inefficiency. Okay. Oh, but is that an imbalance? No. That candle's high to that candle's low, that's not an imbalance. This gap here, with that space there, with that gap, that is the suspension. Yes, it's an inefficiency. I didn't say last imbalance. I said last inefficiency. We get through that, it looks like here. We get further through that here, definitely. And we actually get back into this one here. We rallied up, and even though we are at the high end, you usually don't want to see that, but I don't make the rules. I don't move price or tell it where to close. But the bodies in here are respecting it. This candle tapped the high end of it, couldn't close outside of it. This candle, same thing, taps the high end, can't close outside of it. And then Monday, that's a new week, goes higher to take Thursday and Friday's high and then close lower. And since then, that Tuesday, massively lower, right? on the 9th, which was Thursday of last week, we get into this suspension that is no longer bullish, right? Okay. Well, if it ain't fucking bullish, what's it going to be? Bearish. Okay. What have we been doing here? Can't get in the upper half. Oh, man, but they always say gaps fill. Okay. Well, then, okay, go ahead. Go ahead and buy dollar index or short the euro if you'd like to that gap fill. Sure, go for it. And you let me know what happens when you're in a leveraged position that goes against you for 3 days straight. You tell me what happens. No. Again, that's goober mentality. That's retarded. This would be the upper half of an inverted suspension. But you don't even know what that is. A lot of people don't know what that is. Misinformed. You're misinformed. And guess what? If you're misinformed, you're going to make misinformed decisions, like shorting bullish markets. It's insane to me. But my point is, this was once bullish, and that was our turtle soup up here. This is basically the low risk short. And I don't really see this as a sell model, but the sell side of the curve would be here because it's manipulation, V-shaped reversal. By the way, if you guys see that, expansion higher met with expansion lower, V-shaped reversal, retracement, and what's after that? Expansion lower. So a dollar index expanding lower plus indices that have, I like triple Qs better for this. Dollar index lower, indices leaving behind clean highs, which I fucking told you about on March 27th. I said, look how we left those highs behind. Everybody can see that. It's no secret. The triple Qs can't hide that from you. The candles are there. They've been there since February. That candle here has been there since January 28th. That candle up here has been there since October of last year. It's been there. It's so obvious. But again, it's not obvious on a 1 minute time frame. It's not obvious on a 1 hour time frame if you're not looking that far back. So the timing was off. V-shaped reversal. Okay, get back in sync. Bang. And look where we're at. Almost all-time highs. And all you see is people complaining. Oh, well, Trump fucking told you too, dumbass. He said the market would come back like it never would before. He ain't been wrong yet. You're going to argue with the most powerful man in the world? Yeah, you're no longer stupid. You're fucking autistic. Okay, I got to edit this out, obviously. But you're seriously in need of some help if you're arguing with somebody like Trump. In regards to the market, I'm not saying his policies and the things that he believes. I'm saying specifically about the stock market. He has not been wrong about that at all. So to go against that, to go against Trump, to go against pools of liquidity, to go against the dollar index as intermarket analysis, yeah. See how that works for you. And you see almost everybody on Twitter, they don't get it. They don't understand it. You do. I would hope you do. So, anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this presentation. I tried not to make it a super ridiculous long rant, but we went over law number 48 very briefly. It's just, you got to be like water. You got to assume formlessness. You can have a bias, but once you're proven wrong, either switch it or go to the sidelines. I'm not always going to be right. You're not either. But what we have to do is admit that we're wrong early and then get back in sync. Okay? You have to realize that most people do not know what they're doing. Most people went through life the same way you and I did. They went to school, learned a bunch of dumbassery, went into the public, learn from other dumbasses about trading, and don't know this stuff. And you can see it. They're getting wrecked. The market patched fair value gaps. The market's adapting. You got to change. The market doesn't fucking adapt. The market doesn't change. It does the same shit. Still trades to liquidity and inefficiencies. Is that an inefficiency? Yep. Was that an inversion? Yep. That's an inefficiency. Did we draw to that? Yep. We got through it. Was that, support to go higher? Yeah, it was. Where's it headed to? Pool of liquidity. There's nothing different about that. Markets are constantly changing. No. No, it's not. It does the same things over and over and over again. You would know that if you actually looked at the fucking market instead of taking the opinions of other people. The internet is full of opinions, bro. And most of them are wrong. Plain and simple. So when you understand that, you'll realize how easy it is to be a contrarian. See what everybody else is doing and do the opposite, and you will win. A lot. Anyway, Mark, I see what you wrote. Just I needed to get that off my chest today. I needed to say all that. I needed to. Okay. And part of that, if you guys, if you're looking for somebody to blame, if you go to our testimonials today, Mohammed Omar passed an FTMO challenge today, and that's dated for April 15th. Yeah, which is today. And they said, and again, this is in our testimonials. This is also on my Instagram story. And he said, quote, "I have to say, 2 months in leaving behind all previous knowledge, unlearning all the BS, and having an open mind has proved significant changes in my discipline and abilities. Here's to many more. Heart emoji." End quote. But do you see what he wrote? And I didn't tell him to write that shit. I don't tell any of you guys to write anything. The testimonials chat is open for whoever's in there. I hope you don't write some bullshit and I'll fucking delete it. But that's what it's for. You can post your payouts. You can post your combines, your challenges, whatever. You can post all that stuff. And it's there. But my point is, look what he said. 2 months in, number one, leaving behind all previous knowledge, and 2, unlearning all the bullshit. And number 3, having an open mind. That's what he did. You see how that is? That's what he did. And I had to do the same thing. Only I can tell you it took me longer than 2 months to do that. It took me a long time. But at this point in my life, I am highly skeptical if most people agree on a certain way of doing something. So it's interesting how a lot of us say, "Oh, become an independent thinker," and then fall right back into thinking like the masses again. You know? You seriously, you have to become an independent thinker. You have to think for yourself. You know, if you think this is stupid, if you think inversions are stupid, if you think balanced price ranges are stupid, if you think, old gaps being utilized is stupid, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But you're not going to have the precision that I have. And if you're fine with that, then do what you got to do. But anyway, I don't know why I said Mark. It's Mr. Kesha. Sorry, I can't fucking read. Oh, maybe I'm the stupid one then. I don't know. Last year I got my first funded account pass. Started learning with you a couple years prior. After my first funded went solo journey, it changed me. Good to be back. Oh, welcome back, my friend. Yeah, risen with the tism. Yeah. Yeah, where are the sellers? Isn't that weird? Slowly, everybody's shorting the market, but it keeps going higher. Well, if sellers moved price, why does it keep going higher then? If sellers move price and everybody's selling, why the fuck is it going higher? Must not be buying and selling then, is it? Must be something else. Must be something else. How's that new book? Pretty good, dude. I gotta tell you, man. I read the first couple chapters last night. How to get a return on failure. This was something that, this came out yesterday, by the way. This was something that John Maxwell spoke about at the Barry Center here in Houston in December. I met him too. And he talked about a couple of points in this book. It's really good. It's a good book. He actually quotes Og Mandino. I was excited. He quoted Og Mandino. I was like, yo, that's sick. And then he quoted Joel Osteen too. I was like, oh, fuck. Whatever. It's fine. Law of duality, maybe? I don't know. One good guy, one goober, maybe? Balance is key. I just realized this specific hour on NQ had a decent buy opportunity starting at the macro, but ES has been stronger this hour. Well, look, I have not really looked at a lot here because we've been on a daily time frame pretty much this entire stream. But let's see. Let's take a look. Let's take a gander. 1150 to 1210 is right here. And that is a low from 939. Yeah. So 1156 tapped into that low. Look at this. Look at this buying and selling pressure here. Last imbalance before manipulation. Trade through it and then right into it right there. Right at 12 o'clock, open of the hour too. All of that inside of a macro. That's weird, isn't it? That's weird. Definitely strange. You know? The market just keeps making turning points inside of these time windows that nobody believes they exist. So, I don't know. Either they exist or we're the most luckiest group of traders ever. Because it keeps happening. So, I don't know. You decide. What is it? Is this algorithmic, or are we just consistently the most luckiest group in the history of life itself? What do you think is more plausible? What do you think is more realistic? So, anyway, you guys have any other questions? We talked about being open for interpretation. Law number 48, assume formlessness, be like water. We talked about order flow, excuse me, which is that was on a daily time frame, seeing bearish concepts that were once respected to be bearish to get ripped and then be treated to go higher. That's what we saw. That is institutional order flow. That is what you do not want to trade against, and that's what people are trading against today, and that's why they're getting smashed to pieces. Humpty Dumpty. We talked about intermarket analysis. I'll go over that just one more time. It's not difficult. It's just saying, hey, look, if the indices are set to go higher and the dollar index is set to go lower, that's what you want, and that is what adds fuel to the fire. Okay? Like a small fire could be indices wanting to go higher. And you could, you know, that's a fire. But with the dollar index going lower like that, that's like taking a gallon of gasoline and dumping it all over that fire, and it's going to be, you know, much a greater flame, right? And think about it. That as a low risk short inside that inverted suspension over the last 2 weeks, that's a pretty significant price move. Who's going to argue that? You can't. Can't argue that. This has been massively bullish. You can't argue that. Stocks have been doing fucking awesome. Did we even talk about eBay yesterday? I think so. That was all-time highs yesterday. Well, what's Microsoft doing today? 4%. That's weird. Wonder if we talked about Microsoft yesterday at all. What about PayPal? What's she doing? 2.95%. Oh, that's fucking weird. All the stocks we've been looking at, indices that we've been looking at, all up today. Man, just when is the luck gonna run out, bro? Seriously, when will the luck run out? Because I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. Maybe you can tell me. When will the luck run out? Hopefully not soon. But if you guys have no more questions, then that's gonna be it. Okay. At the end of the day, if you didn't take any notes today, then simply put, number one, be open for interpretation. Be like water. You're not always going to be right. When you're wrong, find out early, admit it early. It's not a big deal. Okay? And with that, either switch your bias or move to the sideline and wait for more information. We talked about order flow on a higher time frame, not 1 minute, not 5 minute. We talked about daily and weekly time frame. Okay, look at these candles on a weekly basis. Look at all the previous up candles in the last couple years. Okay, back in April of last year, yeah, we had some beautiful up movement, and then the candles did start to slow down a little bit. Look at the last 3 weeks. Look at the last 3 weeks. Look at this week, and it's only Wednesday, right? Look at this week so far. Look at last week. And then look at the week before that. This is what you're shorting against. Idiotic, man. Bullish order flow. That's what we talked about on a higher time frame. And then we talked a little bit about intermarket, how the dollar index can help confirm indices going higher, or vice versa. Like if we had a bearish indices and a potentially bullish dollar, then that would be the other way. But for this, it's dollar's been heavy going lower, heavy like your mom, and the indices have been going higher, bigly. Okay, and that's it, man. It's not. I'll say this in closing. It's not your fault that you were born into a culture that taught you bad shit. Okay? And I'm not saying that, one culture is better than another. I'm not saying that. But I am saying every culture has flaws and flawed ways of thinking, biases, and just bad stuff. That's not your fault. You were born, from the parents that you have. The culture that you grew up in, the state or the country that you lived up in, whether it was poverty, whether it was middle class, whether it was upper class, whatever have you, you didn't control any of that, and none of that is your fault. But what is your fault is if you continue to live in ignorance, if you continue to live like things that if it's not working and you're still trying to force it to work, that's not a good way of living. Okay? You want to lose weight and you think having a cheat meal is cool every once in a while, but you're not really losing weight, you're doing something wrong. If you're trying to short bullish markets and you're not making money, you're not passing combines, you're not getting payouts, you're doing something wrong. So again, how you got started is not your fault, but where you end up is. So just admit that most of what you know is probably wrong, unless you're my student, of course. Then most of what you know about trading is probably pretty solid. But generally speaking, you grew up and you had biases and bad information, and that has not served you very well, has it? Probably hasn't. You were probably lied to. Well, you're not going to have calculators in your pocket. You know what I mean? You have to spend time unlearning stuff. Unlearn the bad stuff. Learn the good stuff. And readjust. And constantly be a student. and never think that you know it all, because you don't. And I don't either. I know sometimes it comes off that way. It does come off. I know, chat, sometimes I come off a little bit like an asshole with shit like this. I know I got a market too. All right. You know, I like to have fun. But at the end of the day, though, when it comes down to being serious, no. I still read. I still buy new books. I still read them. I still learn and apply too. I don't know it all. All right. So y'all be good. Be blessed. And there's no stream tomorrow because it's Thursday. There's a market review tomorrow. But the next stream we'll have here for the public will be on the 20th, Monday of next week. For the members here, we'll have a member-only live stream on the 17th, this Friday. So make your decisions, and I will see you when I see you.
Have made me older since the last time that I saw your pretty face. 1,000 lives have made me colder, and I don't think I can look at this the same. And all the miles that separate disappear now when I'm dreaming of your face. I'm here without you, baby, but you're still on my lonely mind. I think about you, baby, and I dream about you all the time. I'm here without you, baby, you're still with me in my dreams. And tonight it's only you and me. Oh yeah. The miles just keep rolling as the people leave their way to say hello. And I've heard this a lot, so but I hope that it gets better as we go. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm here without you, baby, but you're still on my lonely mind. I think about you, baby, and I dream about you all the time. I'm here without you, baby, but you're still with me in my dreams. And tonight